Hello, this is Paul Chek. Welcome back to yet another one of my many video blogs, all of which I enjoy doing, so I'm going to enjoy this one with you today. I'd like to talk about embracing the pause. We are in a very, very fast-paced culture, and many of us have quite fixed ideas in our head about what should be happening at any given moment in time, and when things don't go our way, we can get a little bit irritated, and some of us can behave very irrationally and lead ourselves into much more trouble than if we had simply embraced the pause. So today what I'm going to do is give you a little model that I created to kind of help you process this concept of the pause and see if we can turn what might have been resistance or friction or frustration into a pause for opportunity and creativity. So let me take you through my little model. So first we're going to pretend that we're dealing with something like a traffic jam. That's just a signifier for something that's causing an obstruction to your perceived ideal flow of time, energy, and activity. Could be stuck at an elevator, you could be stuck in an elevator, you could be expecting something in the mail that you need to complete a project and it doesn't show up or it gets lost. Anything where things aren't going the way you would like them to go and things are changing right before your eyes is what we're talking about. There's the pause. So what we'll do is look at my model here. You see the triangle upon which we have a seesaw. On the left side of the seesaw, we're going to have a habit issue, which is our behavior from the past, which is related to our conditioning, most of which is parental and much of which is also socio-cultural. Remember, Arnold Mindell gives a beautiful little synopsis of what culture is. A lot of people doing the same thing, and we have a lot of people behaving very irrationally, making themselves more wound up when things don't go exactly how they want them to. But if everybody gets exactly what they want, we'd have lots of conflict anyhow, because for everything that you want, someone standing not too far away from you wants the opposite generally. If we have past conditioning from parental or social cultural conditioning that leads us to reacting in a way that is stressful when we are faced with a pause, then we will activate the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, or freeze nervous system. That will increase heart rate, blood pressure, breathing rate, will bring blood triglycerides up very high, and if you aren't using that liberated energy, it will become very, very stressful to the body, and if it happens frequently throughout the day, it can cause all sorts of problems with blood sugar handling, fluctuations in blood sugar. It triggers off accumulation of body fat over time. It leads to diseases. Now, on the other side of the model, we have creativity, which is here related to the future. Remember, we're here at the pause. The traffic jam is right now. So we're on this tipping point where we're either going to behave out of habit, out of the past. Now, if your habits in the past are supportive of the pause, then you don't have to worry about that, but you can still take advantage of the other side. If your habits are stressful in the state of the pause, then you'll see I have an out or an option for you. So creativity is something that we have to choose to do. When you're stuck in the traffic jam, you're either going to react in a negative way or stressful way, or you can choose to be creative. And the moment you make the choice to be creative, you're making a choice for the future from the now. So 1 minute you're stuck. Should I get pissed off or should I just respond favorably? So creativity is an opportunity, an offering, reaching from the future back into the present. Thus, the present, you see, it's offering you a present. So creativity offers us opportunity. Now, by taking the opportunity for creativity, we produce evolution. in order for us to evolve, we must go out of the box. So what does that mean? If your parental conditioning says when you get stuck in a traffic jam, you behave like a moron and yell and scream at people and give them the finger and bring your blood pressure up and flood your body with cortisol and that kind of stuff, then we're not really doing the right thing for getting out of the box. We're staying in the box. That's a stressful place for most people to be. So in order to evolve, then we have to get out of the box, which requires the use of intelligence. Osho beautifully said, playfulness is a measure of intelligence. So people that get stuck at the pause and don't take the opportunity to be playful or creative are not really demonstrating a very high level of intelligence, which unfortunately is far more common, the lack of intelligence and playfulness, than being playful and taking an opportunity to be creative. Now, when we take the opportunity to be creative and we find that we have a possibility now in the pause to relax and just accept that reality is what's happening. If there's a traffic jam, there's a traffic jam. Unless you're going to, unless you're driving a Hummer or something with a cow catcher on the front, you can just push everybody out of the way and hope like hell that nobody catches you, then you're stuck right there with the rest of us. So by taking the opportunity to be creative and to get outside of the box of prior conditioning, we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is linked with higher levels of creativity, meditative thinking, connecting, intuition, using your imagination. The reason that is because as heart rate goes up and blood pressure goes up and cortisol, the chief stress hormone, goes up, our body perceives it's more and more under a threat. And as I say to my students, it's not a good time to try throwing in a cartwheel if you're running from a lion. So our physiology is set up to diminish novel creative acts under perceived or high levels of perceived stress, because you don't know if the cartwheel is going to really entertain the lion, distract the lion, or make it think, well, that was stupid, now I can easily catch you and eat you. So once we start relaxing and breathing and saying, here I can feel stress rising up in me, I can feel my mother's behavior or my father's behavior, or I'm acting like the rest of the idiots on my football team, etc., there's your window of opportunity for real evolution. So when we're aware, we go into parasympathetic activation through conscious awareness, and here you can see that we're dealing with something that's stressful or an opportunity for intelligence and playfulness. And whenever we choose intelligence and playfulness above and beyond what our programming is, what our mother might do, our father might do, our family, our brother, our sister, our aunt or uncle, the classic behaviors that you were raised around, then we're actually in a state of evolution. And there's something special hidden in that word. If you read it backwards, it says, know it you love. If you're stuck in the traffic jam and you swear you've got to get to the store to drop this letter off by a certain time, you're in love with that concept, but reality is not supporting the concept. Therefore, if you don't have the bravery and the trust that things will work out, and don't accept that there's other dreams woven in with yours and a thing called reality, then you're not going to evolve. You're going to actually increase the sense of pressure and stress inside yourself, and you may even become dangerous to other people, which is not a very evolved way to behave. So know it you love means be brave enough to let go of your own little tiny idea of what has to happen and realize that we're all in this together. And then you're going to evolve. And then you're really offering your family a gift because you're modeling what their potential is. So to close, let's talk about a few tips. One, if you get stuck at the pause, and you can only do one thing, you don't have much option other than just being there, breathe through your nose and your belly. Feel what's happening. Say, oh, I'm sitting in traffic here. I'm not going anywhere. Well, now's a good chance to activate my parasympathetic system and enhance my digestion, elimination, and my anabolic or tissue healing powers. How do I do that? I slow my breathing down, take a nice steady breath in through the nose, put your hand on your belly so you expand your belly. 2/3 from the belly, only the last 1/3 from the chest. Let it go. And just feel what's happening inside your body. Celebrate. I'm alive. I've got breath. I've got food. I've got water available to me. I've got shelter, and there are people who love me, which means I have no real survival threat. I have every opportunity now to be playful, creative, and evolve. So feel what's happening inside of you, and what are you willing to create. And we all have an opportunity to celebrate life. Hey, if you're not bleeding or in pain, so you're going to miss your appointment. Big deal. A week from now, you'll forget all about it. You won't even know that you had that unless you act like an idiot and get yourself hurt, arrested, or something else, and you'll probably remember that for a long time. 2, you can dream. I love to dream. Any chance I get, I'm into dreaming. I just go inside myself, and if I don't have something I'm specifically wanting to dream about, then I go talk to the dream weaver, which is your soul. And I love sitting down for a minute or sitting in traffic or wherever I'm at, and I just say to my soul, my dear soul, is there anything that you'd like to share with me that would be useful to my awareness at this time in my life? And I just relax and see what rises up in me as a voice, an intuition, a vision, or a sensation. And if nothing rises up, then I can simply say, let's do something together. Let's create something together. I imagine a circle, and what would you like to do? And maybe all of a sudden I see 2 little dots appear for eyes. I imagine a mouth, and so we do art together. It's easy to do. It's fun. If you can't enjoy being with yourself, you're going to run into problems in life. I can promise you that. You'll become codependent on everybody else entertaining you and making you feel good, which largely means you become a pain in the butt to people, a parasite. 3, heal. Whenever you're stuck, pay close attention to how you're reacting and how you're behaving and ask, is this really helping anything? Usually the answer is no, especially if you're at customs going through the border. So what we want to do is whenever we're in pain and we're frustrated because the pause seems to be obstructing our flow, we want to ask ourselves, what is my dream? What am I ultimately wanting to create? Maybe what is my dream for how I want to feel right now? What is my dream for my work or my family or whatever it is that is important for you to energize as your dream? What is the negative thought? We're going to mind flip it. Instead of, God damn it, friggin' traffic, fucking people, get the fuck out of my way, what a bunch of assholes. That's not really much of a contribution to a dream, but it's very, very common. So the mind flip is, instead of, I'm never going to get to my appointment, or I'm never going to get to mail this letter today, and I'm going to miss my mortgage payment, hey, well, you flip the coin. Instead of, it's the problem of traffic and people, you flip the coin and be honest with yourself, I shouldn't have waited till the last minute and expected that there would be no traffic, since there's been traffic on this road at this time every day that I've ever lived in this city. What's my dream? My dream is to realize that I now have the potential to improve my self-management to make my life less stressful and even less expensive by not getting late payments. So what is the dream? My dream is to be have good credit, on time with my payments. What's the negative thought? It's someone else's fault. What's the positive? The honest flip on that. It's my fault. What are you willing to do to make better choices? Organize yourself so you don't wait till the last minute next time, and know that there is always surprises in traffic. So when we flip the coin, we also want to consider what are our values, what are the things that are important to us for happiness making, for moving of body, mind, and emotions. What is it that we need to fuel our bodies with through food and water to optimally embody our dream? And so when you take happiness, movement, diet, and quiet, how much rest do I need? Sometimes you can burn yourself out just with stinking thinking. Remember, the mind uses 80%, the brain uses 80% of the available blood sugar anytime you're cognitively engaged. So imagine how much blood sugar is wasted on stinking thinking. The average person's been shown to think 68,000 thoughts a day, of which 90% have a negative orientation. So we seriously need to take advantage of the pause and do some evolving, because that research shows that our socio-cultural conditioning is not favorable for playfulness, creativity, or dream weaving, but it is favorable for selling shitloads of medical drugs to people that don't pay attention to what they're creating, not to mention all the surgeries, car accidents, and broken relationships. Okay? 4, remember, chaos equals the ground state. And it is from that ground state that creativity emerges, and creativity can be simply expressed as organizing energy. If you want to create something, you have to organize the energy. If you want to write your name, you have to organize the energy to create the symbols that encapsulate your name, as opposed to throwing a temper tantrum, for example. So we always want to be aware that if you just look at the Tai Chi symbol, you could say yin represents order, it's symbolized by a box, it contains things, and yang is like fire, it's creating chaos unless you are creative and you control the fire. If you control the fire, you've got things like a steam engine, or a kettle, or a stove that you can cook on, or productive use of thought or mental emotional activity harnessed as creativity. So those are my tips for today. Now, some resources for you. My 4 Doctors ebook, The Last 4 Doctors Learning How to Get Healthy Now, is a great resource. It has 4 audio companions that expand on and even go into some of the metaphysical elements of each of the 4 doctors that I don't often talk about. But Dr. Quiet, the audio companion, has 7 meditations that I like to use for myself and for people with busy minds that are the kind that get wound up when the pause button gets hit. Also, if you go to ppssuccess.com, PPS Success, Personal, Professional, Spiritual Success.com, Lesson 2 of my 12 lesson series is all about self-management, and it gives you a lot of tools for helping you heal parental and social cultural programming, or what I call mind viruses, so you know how to manage your thoughts and emotions to fuel evolution, thinking outside of the box, being playfully intelligent, activating your parasympathetic nervous system to enhance your anabolic recovery, stabilize blood pressure, stabilize breathing rate, normalize the utilization of energy and resources, and then you're doing fantastic. Thanks for joining me today. Enjoy PPS Lesson 2 and my 7 meditations for busy minds in the Dr. Quiet audio. I'll see you soon.